Anthony Edwards said in his post-game press conference, "We'll be back." There is no guarantee the Timberwolves will be back. They haven't been back in 20 years. Doesn't work that way. The Denver Nuggets thought they'd be back, and they lost to these Minnesota Timberwolves. The margins are so thin, especially as we continue to drift deeper into the more tumultuous, stormy waters of the second apron era, which is exactly where the Minnesota Timberwolves' current payroll is expected to be. And there's so much nonsense hanging over everything, from an ownership battle where you've got John Krasinski at The Athletic reporting that Glenn Taylor was trying to shake the hands of A-Rod and Mark Lowry and even give them hugs at these games, and all those overtures were rebuffed. Glenn Taylor is still going to be the majority owner while the offseason happens if they're still battling in court. And then there's this mutual opt-out clause in Tim Connolly's contract. Where do you personally stand on what this team just accomplished a year after the Rudy Gobert trade was widely mocked? And then he became the Defensive Player of the Year again. They were fighting for the 1 seed all year long. They knock off the defending champs and then fall short in the conference finals.
You talked about how thin the margins are, and obviously, like you referenced it in terms of the roster building and the financial needle that they're going to have to thread, and the big decisions that come on that. Like, is Karl Anthony Towns going to wind up on the trade block because you've got to figure out how to retrofit this roster moving forward around Anthony Edwards, and also, I keep going back to how slim the margins are in these games, right? Like, they got their doors blown off in Game 5, but before that, they're up with 3.5 minutes to go in Game 1. They're up, heading into the final possession of Game 2. They're up in the final 5 minutes of Game 3 before they completely just disintegrate in terms of crunch time execution, which was a problem all year long for the Timberwolves. And now that's what puts you in the existential crisis. So Anthony Edwards he's obviously, it was a remarkable postseason run for him. Where he can go is, the sky is the limit for him. But all of the accolades and the plaudits that he got for the first 2 rounds, this was the, coming back to earth a little bit in the third round. If it's me, I think it's worth it for them to whoever is owning the team to pony up and pay up and let's see where this, some minor tinkering around the edges on the playmaking and maybe some more shooting to open up the floor for Ant, where that gets you. But easier said than done. Everybody's looking to make those around the edges improvements, and they don't come cheap.